if I get these set out so I know this is my corner going in place, once this is in, I'll draw marker pen line around that, and that'll be my setting out point. That's where I'll start my tiling. Hi, I'm Luke from O'Brien Property Maintenance. We've just put down the cable decking, ready for the matting to go down. I've just done my measurements, ready to take downstairs so I can lie down on a flat surface. We're going to get that adhesive notch trowel down with 4mm trowel, and then we'll go over with the roller, the weighted roller, and then we can jump on to marking out where tiles are going and setting out, and then we should get the tiling in. With tiling you always allow for any damages or cracks in tiles, so you always add your 10% or 20% on top with your material, so you've always got enough, because obviously you could be in a position where you run out of tiles, but I think it'll be okay. It should be okay, but the tiles are here. Hopefully we will be. If you're having patterns like herringbone and things like that, it will take longer because it's more setting out and more cuts. This is pretty straightforward with your normal tile effect of your brick blocks. So prep's key. If you get your prep right, then you're going to make your job that little bit easier for yourself. If you set out wrong, you're going to end up with little tiny cuts which aren't going to look pleasing to the eye. They're going to be difficult for the tiler to do. You're more likely to get damage or cracks on a smaller tile because it's just got not enough surface area for the tile to stick to. If you set out wrong and you've got an angle here, you know you haven't followed. You either haven't set out properly or you haven't followed what you did say you were going to do. And the only thing you can get wrong is if you put the adhesive down and you cover your mark, just uncover it, have a look for it, because it's always better to go straight from the mark that you've already set out. When I do all my setting out, I'll always do dry tiles first to make sure we've got a lovely line going this way, this way. Both sides are going to be equal cuts if you can possibly get it equal. You've obviously got to account for your wall being out, and I will say we're quite lucky here because there's no skirting or anything on, which I think is a great thing for tiling, because you can drop your skirting on top or we can do your tile skirts. But if the walls are out, you need to know that by the time you get to the other end, it might be a half cut or quarter cut here, which you're happy with, but by the time you get over there it might be a tiny little cut and it's just going to look awful. So you want to, if that happens, you want to bring it all over. But if you do bring it all over, just make sure on the other side as well you've done the same there, because you might have got it perfect over here, making it run in nicely, but on this side it might be completely out. The grout we use is from NNC.
Antifungal, so.
Yeah, antifungal, so you can use it in swimming pools as well if you look on the packaging. So it's the best waterproofing you're going to get from that grout.
A lot of selection for the adhesive as well, but obviously this is this S1 because it's a standard set, because with the rapid set or with an S2, there's more of a chemical imbalancing, so it won't actually take the fleece backing on the matting.
So we've got the 4.5 litres to a bag because we're mixing the full bag for this job. Obviously will depend on how much you're mixing up, but just add it slowly, don't go too fast, you get clumps, and then mix it as soon as it goes in. You just take your time. Straight off this bit out. Go a little bit faster there. And then one rule, always wash out your whisk. Ready to the next job. So applying the adhesive now with a 4mm notch trowel, ready for the matting to go on top, which we're then going to roll over to get you full coverage. Obviously when you're tiling, well not obviously, I've done it myself, when you do start setting out your adhesive, you want to make sure that you don't put yourself into a corner or get stuck in the room, because you don't want to stand there for 24 hours while it goes off. And then once this is down, once did your original, we've been told that you can just tile straight over the top after that's got that adhesion when you've got your roller over. Then we've got a flat blade over the top with just the flat edge of your trowel, and then add your 6mm notch for your tiles.
Porous, or straight down onto concrete or a freshly latex floor. You're supposed to do a 4-to-1 mixture with a primer. Basically just stops any failure in the floor substrates really, just to give it a full complete barrier so it doesn't, fresh concrete or latex doesn't draw the moisture out of the adhesive too quick so it doesn't go off.
And the primer adds a chemical key which will adhere to the adhesive for the tiles to be fully adhered to the floor or wall, whatever you're tiling.
Obviously with the weighted roller to get it all flat and to fill in the cavities on the underneath for it to allow it to bed to the fleece underneath. If you look here you'll see that obviously the trial mark's going in this direction, but obviously as we roll over it you'll see that the adhesive's been pushed outwards in the opposite direction, so that's how you know. And obviously you lift it, that's how you know you got good coverage on the underneath, which is what we're aiming for. Just to highlight, obviously Luke said about the jointing tape. This just improves the water, increase it by possibly about 100% in wet areas.
For the waterproof.
Just add the additional waterproofing in between joints and anywhere where you see pipes, go around pipe work and stuff as well.
Lay it down flat bladed first, like you would fill in their notches like that. So you've got your notches filled, which should be underneath. You then lay over the top with your 4mm trowel to get your notch. Then you put your tape on. Then once your tape's on, you then flat blade over the whole area, making sure obviously that you cover the sides, overhang it slightly, and make sure you cover these sides because this is going to be notched over in the part straight over the top. So what I'll do is when I've got the right bits in here, so this one's the next one. If I get these set out so I know this is my corner going in place, once this is it, I'll draw marker pen line around that and that'll be my setting out point. That's where I'll start my tiling so I can work my way backwards, and we'll do the full tiles as we go, but bring in the cuts in, so we'll work in that sort of fashion. So we'll S out of here and work our way out, and then we'll be able to walk out the door with the tiles without stepping on any tiles to get to the next one. With this you can stop, but you want to use the adhesive you mixed up because it's not cheap really for the adhesive, and you don't want to mix up and only do a little bit because you get bored, which I understand because it can get monotonous when you're doing a big area. But I'd use everything that's in the bucket before you start. But once you start, just make sure you run something flat, even underneath, just on the edge of the tile, just like that, just so you can fit these in if you are using the tile leveling clips. If not, and you're just using spacers, it's okay because it's sit in between like that. So that's how it would usually go, but you just got to cross. But with these leveling clips, just make sure you leave space underneath, otherwise you can't use them. We are finishing the tiling up, not far off. We'll have to wait for that to set, and then we're on to the grout section. When we get the grout in, we'll sort you out another video on how to and when to. Keep in touch.